welcome to Naughty Nautilus. My name is Corinne, and this is the channel where I talk about what I like to do in terms of crafting. And today we are here to talk about cross stitch. So this is Flosstube number 11, and this is going to be an update on what I did in May of 2026. Today is Monday, June 1st. May was a very productive month. I keep getting more and more productive, and I'm waiting for the crash. So we'll see. Maybe June's the month I crash on how much cross stitching I get done. That being said, I did over 20,000, almost 21,000 stitches that I can record. I don't record back stitch if it's something in Pattern Keeper or a paper pattern, and paper patterns I don't track. So I actually did more than that, which is about not quite 2,000 more stitches than what I did last month that I actually could record. So overall, I'm really surprised with myself. Happy to be making progress, but how much cross stitching I got done really cut into other activities. So let's talk about what I actually did. So I actually have two finishes. One is a small project. I said I was going to start this. It was only 1,504 stitches. So it was an easy start and finish. And this, it was the, I called it the May the 4th from Forbidden Fiber Co., but it's actually called Nerf Harder. And when I don't know what happened there, I'm going to splice those together, but this is a 16 count Ada all kit from Forbidden Fiber Co. And their threads, there's some beads in there as well. That's why you don't see the hoop marks completely gone. I'm trying to carefully iron out to make it a little less crazy. I started this on May 4th for Star Wars Day. I didn't get very much done that day, and it kind of was slow working through it. I don't know what it was, if I was just feeling not interested or what, but I pushed through, got it done. I did enjoy their threads, and their fabric is wonderful. It feels like butter when stitching. And I still have a bit of it left. You can see it didn't take up much of that. And I actually still have quite a bit of thread, so I might stitch it again and send one to my sister and her husband, who likes Star Wars a lot. But yeah, it was a fun little stitch. Don't know what I'm going to do with it. Wondered if I mostly frame things, so I'd have to find a frame for it. I don't know if I want to get into trying other ones or not. So that was, yeah, I started it May 4th and I finished it on the 16th. May 4th was during finals week. And if you're new, I teach at a community college right now as adjunct faculty, and I was very busy during that week, so I didn't get much done that week. It was a stressful week for me. So after that, though, I had about 2.5 weeks off, and I got a lot of stitching done, and I got a bug. I had told myself I wanted to start this pattern, but I needed to finish another one first. And I've been waiting to do this. Or I've been sort of had this pattern in the back of my mind waiting, but I needed to finish another pattern first. And I was like, we'll wait a couple months. If you're kind of suspecting, this is something I usually work on every month. And as I was working on it, I was like, oh, well, there's not that much more to do. And there's not that much more to do. And, you know, just kind of kept going there. So this is the dog sampler. I actually finished it. I've forgotten who it is by. I will put it here. And I'm not going to show you what it's going to look like because you're going to see it finished here. But this is what it looked like the last time you saw it. I was in the bottom left and I was just kind of working things in from there. I don't remember exactly, but you'll see it here. And I was kind of just working through my stitches, and I was like, oh, well, I can finish this bottom corner. And at that point, I'm like, there's not that much left. Let's just keep going. So I ended up adding 4,490 stitches, and that means the actual total count is at about 16,090 stitches, and here it is. So, as I said, we were working down here last time. I think I finished this dog. I had all of this done. I started putting in the words. I was like, well, I had just, basically once I got this in, and these guys, and most of the words, it was just this motif finishing the border here and this dog. So I did rechart the words here from the original to a Billy Madison quote. And I'm very happy with how it turned out. So yeah, that's my dog sampler. I had started it on, actually, it ended up being exciting because I started this June 1st. So this would have been this is its 1-year birthday, but it's no longer a whip. I finished it on May 24th. Earlier this, I don't remember which day of the week that was, but I just got in my head. I woke up and I said, you're finishing that today. So we did. So I have an idea. I'm going to frame this. I'll need to get a frame and probably hang it up in my boyfriend's office at home. So yeah, that was exciting. It was not planned. Like I said, I kind of just got a bug in my head and said, you need to finish that today. So happy to have it done. I don't like whips to linger for a long time. I like to keep them moving. So kind of happy it didn't hit the 1-year mark. It was not that big of a project, 16,000 stitches, not a giant project. Originally I was just trying to aim for about 1,500 a month. I started it, I didn't work on it for a few months. So if I had done that, it would have been done sooner. I did have one new start. Trying to remember which bag it's in. So this was I mentioned I might do this. It's in a Crab Shack Stitchery bag. And it has a Crab Shack Stitchery needle winder here, but this is Poison Unicorn by Mama Witch X Stitch, but the pattern is now named Floral Unicorn. When I purchased it, it was called Poison Unicorn. I didn't write down the start date. It was probably the day after, so it was probably the 25th, because by the time I got to that, I was kind of tired of my projects I've been working on, so I wanted a new start. So this is where I got to on the Poison Unicorn. This is on a 32 count Belfast linen from Forbidden Fiber Co. I purchased this as an oopsie bag. So it's a fat 1/8, I believe. And I don't know if you can see kind of the coloring. It's kind of like a purple modeling in blue. And I don't know, when I looked at it, I just said this unicorn needs to go on there. The original design is on black fabric, but I think it pops very nicely. I was a little concerned at first when I was just stitching in the lighter colors, but I think it shows up just fine. And once I finish stitching, like I haven't finished in here and all the stuff around it, I think it's going to look really nice. So this is a total of 1,961 stitches, and I'm using all the called for. I didn't change any colors. And this is actually 35.94% complete. So, a very solid start. For me, if there's stitches in it, it's a start. I don't have a set number. I generally like to keep things moving. I will do a whole, sit down for at least 2 hours to stitch on something in general. So usually expect a couple hundred. I worked on this a few times, like 2 or 3 times. to get these stitches in. And needle minder, probably descent stitch. I can't remember anymore which ones are from where. And this is just in a Nurge hoop. And this is actually an 8x8 Q-snap grime guard. And it fits just fine over it. It's the number 3 Nurge. So yeah, that was my one new start that wasn't also a finish. So I will continue to work on that as we go. All right, sort of the regularly scheduled. We have Whip Go projects. This month, my Whip Go calls, or for May, the Whip Go calls were KT Event and Troubled Waters by Lola Crow. Again, I do 1,000 stitches on my Whip Go calls when they are called. And looks like both are still in Q-snaps right now because I am lazy and leave things in Q-snaps. Pull them out of their bags. They're both haphazardly shoved in a bag. Another Crab Shack stitchery bag. Some retro looking watches. Ooh, these look, I didn't pull them out beforehand like I normally do to make them look neater. So, and sorry, my nose was fine until I started filming. I think that's how it goes. All right, so first one is KT Event. I always kind of forget which one's which when I start. And this is, these are the What the Cat Saw. This is what it's going to look like. They're by Lola Crow. And I started this originally on January 4th of 2026. And I'm racking my brain again. This is, yeah. This is what it looked like the last time you saw it. I can't even remember the order of these calls at this point. But, and I have one thread hanging, because I don't generally stop, but on these I am, to keep the counts correct. And here it is now. Move the needle minder out of the way. There. So this is on 22 count Ada by Charles Craft in the called for DMC, and I'm doing this 2/1 half cross. This is my first time doing an entire project in half cross. Doing it for all 3 of these, and so far I'm pretty happy with the coverage. Sometimes I think these darker colors I might want to go over the top leg to make them darker, although in the camera it doesn't look so bad, but up close, when you get close to it, you can kind of see the spacing. So I haven't decided yet. In fact, I'm curious to know what other people would do if it was your project. I did background. I don't remember what I said I was going to do, but it was probably something along the lines of probably finishing a thread, and then I just kept going. I think I was somewhere down here, and so I kind of went across and up here. So, yeah, I'm kind of trying to get a chunk of the backgrounds done before doing the fun stuff in the middle. Pardon me. That was, yeah, a sneeze. I will have edited that out for you. So yeah, that was the first Whip Go call that I worked on. The second one was Troubled Waters. So this is what it's going to look like. And now I'm second guessing myself. I did this in another video where I had these two and they're so little done that I don't remember exactly which is which. I'm fairly certain on this one though. I originally started this in January 3rd of 2026, so the day before. These were both my January calls for Whip Go. And this is what it looked like the last time you saw it. Same fabric, called for DMC 2/1 half cross, and this one got exactly 1,000 stitches here. And again, I worked on the background. And it would appear I stopped, did the same thing, stopped in the middle, so I filled in down some of this and here. So, and I had done the frame previously, but I don't think I did that this time. I worked on these earlier in the month, so I can't, or, 2 weeks ago. I don't remember. So, yeah, we just, same kind of thing. This one, so Troubled Waters did get called again, so I will probably continue working through that background. This one's been called the least, I believe. So it has the least amount of progress. Both Grime Guards are from Crab Shack Stitchery. I just bought a whole bunch from her. Some of them I have made myself. But yeah, so those are my 2 Whip Go calls. And I did not write down the totals, but you can kind of see where they're at there. So after that, I have, let me put these away real quick. Okay. After that, I have 3 other whips. One is a stitch along. We'll talk about that one first. So this is I think I called this the wrong thing last time, the Museum After Midnight Sal by Lola Crow. So the frame had been released. That's all we have. We're waiting for the first exhibit to be released this Friday. So, and last time you saw it, this is where it was. I had a good chunk of the frame started, and I am happy to say, as of yesterday, I completed the frame. Let me see if I can fit this on my board. I'm using a smaller board. Oh, it's perfect on the board. And here we are now. So I am using, I did not iron it. I apologize, I forgot about ironing this one. I'm using the Call for Royal Haven from Barefoot Needle Arts in 32 count Lugana. And we got it all together yesterday. This ended up feeling a bit like a slog for me. Let me get it fixed. I don't have it actually properly clipped. Maybe I should hold it there. But it started feeling a bit like a slog. I was having that general feeling for a lot of things, so I think it's just because I worked on so much, I was getting tired of it. But I'm happy it's done, and I did also question whether I had the right light at first. As I was stitching it, I'm like, it's so much brighter, but especially looking at it in the camera or from a distance, I'm like, oh, that looks so good. She always does such a good job with her charting. And I am excited to see what's going to come first, but I do need a few days break. So I'm happy to have finished this yesterday and then, take today through Thursday to work on something else. Yeah, there's that Museum After Midnight, ready to go for wherever the parts may be. I'm excited because last time I did her stitch along, I did not get the frame done beforehand, and so I was jumping between the two, and it was a lot. So I am happy to have it ready to go, and hopefully it'll be a little less chaotic. To be fair, the last time I did a stitch along, I also had found out I was getting laid off and was a little bit depressed. Happy to not be depressed this time around. So Nat lives in another Crab Shack Stitchery, and I ended up working on it. I took my 14-inch, or they extend to Q-Snap extender kit that makes an 11-11 by a 14 into a 14 by 14. And originally I had all of it, but I was like not using anything on the top. So this is an 11 by 14. And I can fit the whole width of it in here, and about 2 of the rows fit in here. So I will probably use this or go back to an 11 by 11, which normally fits in this bag. The 14 doesn't. But I found that to be a very nice size for getting this, especially as you're trying to work through stuff and say color complete or something like that, which I do like to do, which is kind of what I did. I had a good chunk of that middle done. And I just kind of put as much as I could in the frame and just started color completing, did the first two, the bottom arches in the middle, got those two done, and then went up to do the top. All right. We'll talk about my Mirabilia next. This one's made by me, kind of in a similar style to how Crab Shack Stitchery made it, but with plankton and covered in cat hair. So this is Persephone by Mirabilia. Here's what she will look like. And I have been working on her for a while. She is my second fancy lady that I have done. I did a mermaid before. I still consider mermaids fancy ladies, similar style there. And here is what she looked like the last time you saw her. I had made just a little bit of progress in the month of April. I got quite a bit more. She got 4 sessions, some not as big as others, in the month of May. But here's what she looks like now. So I have a little bit of her dress done up there, but I filled in this area. I had done the kind of light green. I don't even know if it looks really light green to you there, but I filled in all of this. I was working through, continued this down, filled in some of this area, but then also was bringing this down here. So there is a little bit more. It does go farther out. She has a bench in here that she is sitting on, or a line, and I don't have enough space, so I will have to move the Q-snap. But I just was like, let's see how much of this we can fill before moving it. And I might take the other part of the 14 extenders onto this and give myself a wider section to work on. But I'm very happy with the progress. She's got a lot of dress. You know, we're kind of here and it's going to come down and there's more over there. So we are just trying to get that dress done. And then I'm going to move back up and work on her. We'll start doing the background last. This is 28 count Lugana in Huntress by Picture This Plus. A bold choice for her, but I think these colors pop really nicely off of it. I am a little concerned. Like, there is some stitching in here that's basically the same color, but I think it's going to be surrounded. I think all of the pomegranates are going to be surrounded. If not, I might have to get some creative back stitching to try to highlight it on there. All called for threads. I've got the beads and everything too there. So I haven't changed anything on her. I did not say Museum at Midnight. I added 4,286 stitches to complete the frame. I don't have a count for this. Just what I can see with my eyes, or a rough count, which I didn't look at the pattern. You know, you kind of count 10 by 10 blocks-ish. But she has no plans other than just to try to get some steady progress. I do have a project I want to start after her, which is in the back of my mind, so trying to work on her regularly. All right. Maybe we won't be as long today in my talking. I have a lot to show you. I have 5 total whips to show you. So the last one, this is my BAP. This is the Calamity Tapestry by Crafty Gurami. And I originally started this on May 31st of 2023. And this is what it looked like the last time you saw it. And if you saw my last video, you know that I had wanted to challenge myself to stitch either a guardian or one of these Sheikah monks on the design every single day. I did, in fact, get 31 of those on there, but I did not stitch them every day. I had 5 no-stitch days in the month of May. And so I made up those stitches when I didn't get them done. So trying to get this. Some things are in weird places because I was trying to get a nice clear image set, and it seems some of my ties holding my fabric are all wonky now, but here it is now. There are parts you kind of gotta open it up in there. You can see, but last time you saw it, I had this one. So we started up in here, basically got as far as I was comfortable, and then I started filling in rows of guardians. And I'm very happy to have them done, but I am also kind of sick of them. So, yeah, you can see each individual one is 225, of the guardians is 225 stitches. These are like 190 something. So they're a little bit smaller, but overall, I ended up adding 6,751 stitches. I normally aim for about 2,000 a month, so it was about 3 months worth of work, which is crazy when you realize how little I actually get done in a month, but that's fine. We went from 9.73% last time you saw it to 13.81%. My goal is to get this to 20%. So obviously, if I just did this every day, did one of these every day, I would blow past that easily. Yeah, if I get more than 20% this year, that's fantastic. But 20 is the minimum. So, yeah, I'm very happy. Starting forward, I want to finish up in here, kind of round out this. And then there is some more of these. There's some more of these guys over here. So they, in fact, come under this one here, and some more the guardians down here. So I will continue to try to fill this space, and then I'm going to move towards the middle of it. The vertical middle is somewhere around here. So we are actually we've brought this part almost 50% of the way, except for here. So I want to fill this first and make my way across. There are so many of these to still do. So I'm still going to be doing these for quite a while. But overall, I'm very happy with the progress there. There's actually a pause button. I had forgotten something. So one other thing, this is kind of goes into plans and other things I did. I did play around with some fabric dyeing. I have Rit dye, and this is for a specific project I want to start. I alluded to it briefly at the beginning, but I had a project I wanted to start, but I told myself I had to do the dog sampler first. So this is for that project, this fabric. And I dyed some extra because I was like, let's play. So the project here, this is the Beauty and the Beast sampler by Lena Ova. Because it's monochromatic, it kind of takes the place. I've kind of sort of loosely had my BAP, the Calamity Tapestry, and then originally it was a long dog that was monochromatic, then the dog sampler took that place. So those are kind of categories I have. They're loose, but it's basically to keep me from starting too many projects. I'm currently sitting at 8. And I want to be somewhere between like 6 and 10, I think. This month reminded me, once I finished the dog sampler and that other one, I was, I kind of was getting sick of certain projects, so I needed some variety. So that's why I started the unicorn. But I had in my head that we're going to play with some colors on this pattern. I wanted to use... Well, I want to make, I don't have all the colors. I wanted to make the roses red and some green for the vines. And then I was going to do the panels or anything, not the flowers and the stems and all of that, in a gray. And since it's Beauty and the Beast, because the roses, the red rose is a very prominent thing. The other prominent thing you think of when you think of Beauty and the Beast is her gold dress. And as I've thought about this pattern and wanting to start it, I knew I needed yellow fabric. And I had shopped around, like looked online, and I was like, you have so much fabric. Maybe you have something that you can fit this on and you can just dye it yourself. As I said, I'm just adjunct faculty. I only work part-time. I don't have a huge income, so I'm really not spending other than like, oh, I can buy, you know, a thread for less than $1 kind of thing. So I started playing with it, and I had some 22 count Aida, and I thought, oh, well, we'll play with that. And then I was like, well, since I'm going to do it, let me do a linen as well. I had a 28 count Irish linen from that stash that I had inherited from somebody else. And I also had this idea of doing another project on a yellow, but I would do a linen. So I was like, oh, okay, let's do that. And I was lazy and I didn't serge edges, but I'm going to show you what I came up with because I am very happy with it. So this is the Aida, and it's a little bit wrinkled, but you can see I frayed the edges got quite frayed because of the washing process. There's that. And that, and I was trying to go for like a golden yellow. Well, in order for that pattern to fit on here, I already had tight margins, and this fraying means that I don't even actually have enough space for the stitching. So I did not, so I can't stitch it on this. This fabric is beautiful, and I look forward to finding something else to stitch on it. This was a 22 count. But yeah, I have to find something else for that. The linen, same problem, frayed edges, but I believe I still have enough space there. And you can see it came out a bit darker on there. Part of it was I wanted to experiment with how it looked on Aida versus linen. These are the same dye was used, same sets. I did 3 different colors of yellows for some experimentation there. And you can see it there. And it is a little wrinkled because it's been rolled up, but I will sew these edges eventually. I just really didn't want to deal with it. Part of it is my sewing machine is set up for something else that I haven't finished or I haven't done. So I didn't want to reset my sewing machine to sew these edges, which I should have just done because I keep getting little bits like that keep coming off there. But I couldn't use that fabric. I didn't want to use the linen because I would have to stitch 1 over 1, and I didn't want to do that on there. So I did order a piece of, what is it called? I ended up going with a 20 count Balana. It wasn't called Aida, but I came from Luca S. I ordered it on Amazon, and I ordered a bigger piece. I had plenty of space, and I actually finished the edges first. And since it's slightly different content, so it is, oh, I forgot what it was. It's not just cotton. It's got some rayon in it, I think. So it dyes a little bit differently. And so I dyed that as well. So this is what I'm going to use for it. And I wanted a more golden color. So we got a much more golden color. This was 2 different colors going for some modeling there. Maybe I should hold it this way and fit it in there better. So again, it's a little wrinkled because I ironed it somewhat and then I folded it up, and you can see those fold marks from me and what I did. But I am very happy with it. So I am very excited for this project. I had not started it yet because again, I was feeling a little burnt out. I had finished dyeing this before I finished the other project, and then by the time I finish it, I was just kind of tired. I have 2 of the colors I'm thinking I'm going to use. So let me pull these out. I have these, since I have it, these are bobbin drops from GW Stitching Depot. So they're bobbins, but they're thread drops. So I can get my lengths, but then wrap them up nicely. So that is 355. That's what I'm thinking for the roses. It's a little more rusty in color than just a bright red. If I change my mind, I will change my mind. I'm not married to it. I don't have the green. It's 520. It's in another project, which I had to figure out where, but those are two of the ones that's going there. And then this is 317 for the others. I wanted a gray, but I wanted it to have a little bit of blue undertones. Because again, the other color you associate with Belle is blue for her blue dress. So I think that's going to look really neat. So that is, so 355, 317, and then it's 520. And I think since this is 20 count, I'm going to do 1/1 on there. So that'll be really neat. So that is a plan start. We're into, this was sort of haul slash something else I did related slash plans. So I plan to start that. I want to get a solid start on it at about 2,000 stitches. I think that's going to be my monthly goal for it, to do 2,000 stitches. It's a larger project, and I want to, again, make good regular progress. Other plans, Calamity Tapestry, we're going to go back to 2,000 stitches for right now. Like I said, I was a little sick of it. 2,000 stitches will get me some good progress. It won't fit, it shouldn't finish what's in the frame, but it'll be pretty close. So maybe in July, I will move the frame there, and I am still open to having bigger months, but right now I need a bit of a break, but we still want progress. So 2,000 stitches is the goal there. Whip Go. Troubled Waters was called again, so that's going to get another 1,000 stitches, and I should have ironed this one first. Let me see if I can get it. I don't have any residual heat in my iron. We're literally on my table with my iron a little bit. My other call is Close Encounters. So this is what it's going to look like. And I will show you what I have it out. And again, it's a little bit wrinkly, and I've got one hanging thread. Because again, I'm stopping there, but this is the one with the most progress. So there was like 2 months straight where this was the only one called. So the whole background is done, and I've been working on the inside here. So I will just probably continue with this color, filling it in, and just kind of filling it down here. I plan to do the cats last. So another 1,000 stitches in there. It's exciting to see this one to come together, but at the same time, I want to see the other ones making progress as well. The Poison Unicorn, or the Unicorn one, I want to get another 2,000-ish stitches. I think it's 6,000 or 6,000, something like that. So we'll see. If I feel really motivated, I may finish it. I have one other project looming in my mind that I might start. That would bring me to 10 whips if I were to start it after that Lena Ova one. This is a kit by Riolis. Let me grab it. I was debating for a second whether to put it in as just a digital or show you. One last thing, and I'm sorry, it's still in its plastic, so it's going to crinkle somewhat, but this is Angelique. I have quite a few kits, so I finished the cat one, I finished a few other kits, so I felt like I should start another one and not just acquire them and hoard them. So she just kind of spoke to me. She's mostly full coverage. And we're going to see. I was able to email Riolis and get a PDF version of this. It did not go into Pattern Keeper. So I did rechart it for my own use. But you can email them. And I had asked, and some of their newer ones have Saga files. So, but this one did not. So that is another possible start. I don't have crazy schedules. Some of the people I've seen have these crazy elaborate schedules of when they're starting what, and I like planning, but I don't like planning that much, and I like some freedom. So we'll see what happens if I start both of those or not. I might start something completely different. I have several projects that are like ready to go that I thought I was going to start last year, They're in bags, ready to go, and I haven't started them. I had an idea. I wanted that pattern. So I roll with whatever I feel like stitching. This is my hobby. It's something fun for me. And if I make it too structured, it becomes less fun. So that's my stitching. It was a lot. I don't expect it to be as much next month, but we will see. I do hope you come back and check out what I have done. I hope you enjoyed what you saw today. Let me know on what the cat saws, my Whipco pieces. Would you do the other leg to make the darker color stand out more? Or did you think it looked fine? Am I sitting too close to it making decisions? Let me know. I'm intrigued to see. And if you've stitched a Lena Ova, I want to know, did you leave it as monochromatic or did you change colors? And how did you decide? I see a lot of people stitching them monochromatically, and I haven't looked that much, but I'd be intrigued to know what you think for that. If that's all you're here for, thank you so much for sticking around, listening to me ramble. I do know that I ramble, but I do really appreciate it. And I do appreciate those that take the time to comment. I know it's not huge. I'm also a lurker. I watch a ton of Flosstube videos and I never comment. So I feel you on that. But thank you so much for that. And I'm going to go into a brief life update. Very brief. So last time we talked, we were approaching finals week. It was a very busy week of trying to get a bunch of things done. The institution I teach at actually uses Canvas as a learning management system. If you have children or a student, you may have used Canvas and know that it got hacked during that finals week, so that was fun. It did not affect me directly, but there was a lot of things that had to get done because of it. So yeah, we had that kind of end of semester stuff. And then I have the summer semester already started. Last week was the first week. So I am in the midst of that. It's a little bit easier of a schedule. I have fewer classes, but they go much faster. You're talking about 10 weeks instead of 16 weeks. So the sessions are longer and a lot more information is passed in and everything moves faster. So we are working through that, adjusting to a new schedule. I had a couple of weeks off, which is part of why I got so much done. But at the same time, I got very bored. I'm somebody who does not like having a lot of free time, and I like to change it up. But I didn't do it as much this time around. So I also did have a job interview during that time. So I've spent a lot of my time applying for jobs when I'm not teaching or stitching or doing one of my other hobbies. So I did have a job interview, and it's just a waiting game for that. If I were to get that job, there's going to be a massive change in my schedule. So that's part of why I don't expect to get as much stitching done, because I would lose a lot of that extra time that I have. Normally, when I worked a regular job for a chunk of the day, I would only have a few hours in the evening to stitch. Now, I can start stitching at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon and go till 10 o'clock. I can get huge amounts of stitching done. I expect that to change. I also expect it to change because I have not done my other hobbies. I really would like to get back into that. I also want to do more things in terms of taking care of the house I live in and my own personal health. I mentioned before that I'm dealing with some medical things that have been stressful and are adjustments for the way I live my life. So there is an element of that as well that I'm trying to kind of figure out and balance, and not necessarily bury my head in the sand and just do cross stitching instead of these other things. So there's a lot going on. I do expect fewer stitches in this next month. But we'll see. It may be that I only do one project. We'll see. But yeah, nothing too crazy in life. Pretty straightforward. Nothing. Yeah, I was just trying to think if I did anything. I think I said in my last one, I live a relatively boring life, but I like it. You know, a few hanging out with friends here and there. A friend just celebrated their 40th birthday. We did something for that. I do attend local wrestling every month, and we actually had 2 in this last month. We have it coming up again this weekend, but nothing else planned other than that. So, yeah, a rather boring life update. If you stayed through that, thank you so much. I'm not going to ramble on anymore. There's not much more to say. Once again, thank you for sticking around, listening to me ramble, checking out what I'm cross-stitching, and I do plan on trying to post a quilting update. It's been a while. I haven't done that much, but I don't want to fall behind. I want to still update. So I do plan to do that later this week. So you will see possibly 2 videos from me this week. I hope you do check it out. Even if you're not a quilter, you might find it interesting. I don't know. But yeah, once again, thanks for coming, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.